This is week 4 already. I have day 6, day 4, and 5 were snow days. Monday, February 4th already. And this is NET-225 routing and switching. Talked about static routes. They worked on this lab. I'm not sure how far they got it. Some of them got it completely done. We started dynamic routing, RIP version 2, and on Wednesday we'll finish this. Tech Den. Topics, cyber defense next Saturday, the 9th. So hopefully some people can make it. I may or may be out of town. We got a wiring project coming up. Tech brews. And then a tech talk coming up February 12th. Internet of Things. We will adjust class times, and I sent out an email with sign-up information. Okay, that actually runs from 11:30 to 1:30, approximately in there. So we'll get done with net security a little early, and we'll start OS2 a little late. If students want to attend that. I'm going to attend it. We did a little review. So I talked about we have a router here, router here, and we connect them. So this would be some sort of a WAN connection, and then we have a LAN here and a LAN here. So I have an IP address of a PC here, I have an IP address of a server here. We talked a little bit about naming services, but here we're just going to use the IPs. Now, for this PC here to communicate, for this PC to communicate to this server through the routers, if you think about that for a little bit, it has to have a way to get there. This router here doesn't necessarily know about this LAN here, unless we would do something to represent that. So what we did here was here we created a default route in this router going out. So it can also go out to the internet, and it could also find this network. This network will be in this router's routing table. So that will get, if we use red here, that'll get the traffic here, but when the traffic comes back, this router will have to have a route back to this network. Okay, so that would be this route. IP route to get to this network over here. With this mask, we can send it out the interface or the next hop. It's similar to what we did down here. IP route, default route to the interface, and in this case, it'd be this one, or the next hop over there. Then we started talking about dynamic routing, using a routing protocol, and we used RIP version 2 to distance vector. In this case, they just look at their neighbors and they learn about routes from their neighbors. So we set up our own lab, so let's take a look at it. We already had these connections from the previous lab, so what I did is I created this router here. That happens to be router 32, and then I made these connections to this router. And then the students, we had a little bit of time. We didn't have time to complete this, but we had a little bit of time. They were to type in their networks, so they needed to come up with a network for here. They had to come up with an address for that port, and then they had to use this network with this address for this port. A few students got that mixed up. This is a .2, a .2, and a .2. Some of the people had these .1s there. But the .1s are what I configured in this router, and they should have configured a .2. .1 there, .1 there, .1 there, .2, .2, .2. So they configured these interfaces, and they also should have configured their LAN interfaces too. I think we talked about they could use .1s for those. All right. So then when we configured it, I went back in and corrected a few of these addresses, made sure they were correct. I didn't check everything. And then I put some routing on there. So we're going to look at what it would take to add the routing. I think turned on RIP version 2, no auto summary, and then I assigned my 3 networks. Okay, and if you remember, the router here had a connection going out here and here. So these were the 3 networks that are advertised. So up here, this router would have to advertise their LAN, this WAN, and this network. So they'd have to advertise 3 also. Okay? Now on Wednesday, we're going to take a look at those routing tables and how that worked out. That is it for today.